All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to day number 7 of the 30-day BCR Technique Challenge. All right. So this will be about troubleshooting today. We're just going to be looking into some troubleshooting, and this is going to be kind of a short video today. It's under half an hour. Okay, I'm sort of going to make it that way because New Earth TV Live is going to be happening here at 11 o'clock within 1 hour's time. So, I just want to go over some common questions that some people have had, just as I'm looking at the Telegram group. By the way, if you are unaware of the Telegram group, just go into the video description. All right, click on the video description there, and you'll see the link that will take you to the Telegram group. Okay, and you can sign up for free. All right, and if you have any questions or if you want to support the community based on your success stories as well too of the BCR technique, feel free to join up. Okay, it's completely free. All right, so we're just going to take a look at, let me just go here to the whiteboard. We're just going to take a look at some common questions that I have gotten relating to the BCR technique, right? So we're looking at BCR first, okay? Now some people have stated that they're still having some trouble feeling out the heart, okay? So this is very important. We want to make sure that we are conscientious, we're feeling out the heart. Now, one of the things that you want to do, firstly, whenever you're going through any form of difficulty through the BCR technique, which means you already know the process, right? You already have the checklist, so to speak, right? You're going through the bare bones checklist. You understand how it flows, but you may encounter some anomalies, some difficulties along the way. This is where it's very, very important for you to examine, okay? You have to really get to know yourself. This is all part of a process to getting you to explore yourself. You have to know how you work, right? I may not know how you work, right? So a lot of people come to me and say, Brad, this happens to me when I'm doing BCR. I can't feel like my heart is absorbing a lot of the big ball when I put it into the heart, and I don't really know what to do there. Well, I said, well, you have to really look at your heart. You have to examine. You have to explore. You have to examine, you have to explore, and just get an idea, right? Don't look for an immediate response. The thing is, if you come running to me, right here, I am right here, and you're running up to me, saying, oh, what do I do? Right? What's going on here? How do I get past this hurdle? If you come running to me, it's going to give you no confidence for yourself, right? Because you're not willing to examine and explore your own body. Examine and explore what makes you tick, so to speak, your own patterns, right? So if you feel that you have that energy ball here, okay, and you're putting it into the heart, and you say, I don't feel anything. I don't feel anything, okay? So we want to look at that. We want to look at the heart, okay? Now, all I can really give you is just hints and tips, okay? I'm just the hint and tip guy here. You have to go inside yourself and you have to look at these processes and understand exactly, okay, I'm going through this, I need to troubleshoot, okay? And by troubleshooting, I need to investigate, I need to examine, I need to explore what's going on, okay? So basically you're working to open up the heart, okay? That's a tip. We want to open up the heart. What do? We do something like this. We do heart rate variability, okay? So we are doing heart rate variability. We are softening the heart. The heart rate is going down a little. The body is feeling good. Now, there is an app that you guys can get on your phone. Okay, it is actually Forrest Knutson's app. All right, so let me just clear this off, and I'll write it down for you guys so you know where to look for it. Okay, it is called. Oops. Let me try that again. Get a thicker size here. There we go. Okay. So it's referred to as heart resonance. Okay. So this is an app that you can download on the Apple Store or on Google Play. Okay. And just look for that, heart resonance. I believe that's what it's called. Let me just double check on my phone. I believe it's heart resonance or breath resonance. Let me just see here. Okay. Yeah, sorry, it is wrong. I'm thinking of something else here. It's not called heart resonance. My apologies. All right. So it is referred to as resonant breathing. All right. I was thinking of another app there, I think. Okay. So resonant breathing. That would be weird. I'd send you guys to the store with the wrong name. So resonant breathing app. Okay. And that is the app that you can get from Google Play or from the Apple Store. Okay. Resonant breathing app. All right. And you'll notice that there's a different author name. It's not Forrest Knudsen that is the author of it. It's a fellow named John Goodstadt. John Goodstadt. Okay, he was the designer of the app. Okay, but it's basically Forrest Knudsen's work, so to speak. Okay, so I'd like you to go to the Apple Store or the Google Play and just download that app. It's free. Okay, you don't have to pay anything for it. And this is a really great tool that will get you started with heart rate variability. Okay, so like I said, Forrest Knudsen talks about this quite a lot. And I've been doing heart rate variability for a long time. I just didn't know it was called heart rate variability. For years, I didn't know it was called that because I would time my breath, right? We would time our breath 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I was doing that for years, but I never had a name for it. I just basically referred to as timing the breath, but it is referred to as heart rate variability. Okay, and this is again the most prolific form of exercise of breath that you can do for yourself. All right. So the more that you're getting into the flow of understanding heart rate variability, you're getting your body soft. Okay. As you're getting your body soft, your heart is now going to start opening up a lot more, right? You're softening yourself by working with the breath. Okay. I won't get too much into the greater depths of heart rate variability. I would suggest you just look at Forrest Knudsen's channel with that. Okay, he goes into very extensive information regarding heart rate variability. But what we're doing is we're opening up the heart, right? If we're feeling like we cannot feel that energy ball coming into the heart, then again, our heart has basically this hardness to it. Okay, so this is where we're just learning to soften it. So what I want you to do in the meantime, okay, is I want you just to know that the ball is in the heart, right? So when we're expanding the ball, okay, and we're compressing it, putting it into the size of a tennis ball, all right, and you're just taking that deep breath in, deep breath out through the nose, and we're just putting it into the chest, we're putting it into the heart. If you don't feel it, that's okay, okay? But over time, I'd like you to try and feel it, right? So all we're doing is we're just constantly working with heart rate variability, and we're just working with a lot more of that blissful energy while we're in the reinforcement space, okay, which I'll refer to as RS. Okay, when you're in your reinforcement space, okay, you are making sure that you are going into these higher blissful states. Here you are in the center of your space, okay, and you're receiving all of this bliss. Bliss is coming into you. Love is coming into you. Compassion is coming into you. This wonderful feeling of energy is coming into you. And I really want you to concentrate on that. Okay? So you're imagining all of your pores are open. You're breathing in this love. Like I said, you're making it semi-transparent. Okay? You're making the air like a light mist. And you're feeling it. This is why I say, you guys do not be mediocre with your space. Make it the most divine, beautiful, blissful space you could ever possibly imagine, right? This is why I say you want to stimulate your imagination a bit, okay? Look into some fantasy tales, look into some fairy tales, right? Things that just represent a blissful earth. Like I said, if you're in the void, okay, make the void blissful, right? Because now you're in a state of silence, and I said, this feels so good. I am so absolutely comforted by a silent void, okay? And that's fine as well too. It's up to you, right? This is your space. You are creator, right? So we want to just focus on bringing that bliss, that happiness, that joy, that contentment. We want to bring that in, and we're focusing on that, right? And as soon as we're bringing that in, that's going into the heart. So what this should do is as you're doing the HRV, right? We basically go back into natural breathing when we're entering the reinforcement space. Okay, so when we're in calmness, okay, the second phase, we're doing heart rate variability. Now, you may want to stay here for about 5 or 10 minutes, I would say, just doing heart rate variability, okay? That is great. That would be a very good suggestion. It's like I was talking about before. Stay there a while, right? Stay in the second phase of calmness, right? Again, where the waves are bobbing, we're staying in that calmness, and we're just doing heart rate variability for, say, 5 or 10 minutes, okay? And it calms itself out. I'm not doing that to the demonstrations because I want to get through each stage for you, okay? But again, it's very important that if you're just spending at least a couple of minutes, I'd say at least 3 minutes, right? Doing heart rate variability, and then kind of step it up a little bit more, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, because it's going to feel good. When you start doing heart rate variability, and we start using that resonant breathing app as well too, that I suggested for you to take a look at, that's your practice, okay? Working together with heart rate variability. And that is really going to lower your heart rate. That is going to make your body feel really good. You're stimulating the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, and you're forming equilibrium. All right. So this is what we're doing, is this part here, where you are focusing on bringing bliss, happiness, joy into your body. That's where I want you to concentrate. Okay. Not like, oh, I have to concentrate. I just want you to have more like a concentration of awareness. Right. Be aware of the bliss that's coming into your heart, okay? As you do this more and more, your heart is going to soften, right? So working with heart rate variability is going to soften your heart. And again, just being very aware of the bliss, love energy that's going to come into you is going to soften your heart, okay? It took me years to soften the heart, right? When I first started with all of this, my heart was pretty hard, right? When I was getting into channeling, I was learning how to soften the heart a lot more, right? I had Adronis kind of coaching me, helping me to work with this type of breath, to relax myself, to calm myself. And that all helps, right? But you have to look at the heart as the layers of an onion, okay? You're peeling away layers, right? You may feel that you're peeling away a lot of layers one day, and then you wake up the next morning and there's still a few more layers to peel, okay? That is the heart. The heart has layers to peel off itself, okay? It's the nature of ourselves, right? Even when you're looking at the chakra centers, for example, you're peeling off layers of it, okay? Because we have years and years of this encrusted debris through our bodily system, through our heart, through chakra centers, through many different areas within our body, our mind constructs, right? There's just encrusted layers. It's like just this erosion that happens more and more times throughout the years, and it forms these layers, right? And so we're just like looking at the onion, and we're peeling off the layers of the onion, okay? Don't be shocked by this. This is how it is. This is why people spend years doing this. When you're doing something like BCR, you're shaving years off of meditative work by doing BCR technique, okay? By doing heart rate variability, combined with BCR technique, you could basically shave off 10 or 20 years of intense meditative work by doing this, okay? Like I said, guys, I've only been doing this 13 years, right? When I tell this to other people, they say, oh my God, like I've been doing like 20, 30, 40 years, and I haven't really got there myself, right? Because they're just working on meditative study. They're doing a lot of meditative exercises, which is good, but it doesn't really have that core direction, right? They're basically just kind of looking at the surface and just peeling off one layer at a time. And that's kind of the slower way. What we're doing is we're going right into the heart of ourselves. This is why we're making our heart soft. We're going right into the core of our heart, right? And now we see the entire onion. Now we start peeling off the layers by looking inside the heart and doing that, okay? This is what's giving you a boost. This is what's going to give you a shortcut. What I'm teaching you guys here with the BCR technique is a shortcut, okay? So like I said, within a matter of months, you'll start feeling your heart being soft. You'll start feeling all this love flowing through you. And like I said, that's where you will be. This is a stepping stone, okay? It's a stepping stone to helping you move into the non-dual, okay? This is not the non-dual work itself, but it's a stepping stone towards it. When we're working with the non-dual, we're not really working with images or objects. We're not really working with the mind, right? We're going beyond the mind. When we do work with the mind, we see the mind as a tool. We see the mind as a servant, right? It doesn't have any authority over us at all. When you are working within the dual, okay, you feel that you are a servant to the body and mind, which again is the ego, okay? That's what we're attempting to untrain out of us by doing BCR, okay? This is attempting to completely invalidate that, okay? This is the stepping stone. This is the first step. This is all BCR technique is. You haven't even really begun yet, right? It's when you start to soften this, right? This becomes nice and soft, that you now start to go into the beginning, okay? So many people are in survival mode. And because they're in survival mode, they're not really going to progress too far, right? If they're not willing to understand that this is where you need to be, you need to be at the center point of the heart, because you are the heart. You are creator. You are God. You are the self, right? That's where you need to be. You need to live from the inside. You do not live from the outside. If you're living from the outside, you're living the dual life, okay? You're living in survival. We have to live in here. We have to set up camp. We have to build our house. And like I said, it's at the top of Mount Olympus, right? That's where your house is. It's the very peak summit of Mount Olympus. You build your house right there. You're with the gods. You're living above the gods, right? That's the important thing to remember here, okay? So that's what I want to do for the whiteboard. I'll just go back now to the main screen. Okay, so that's very important. This is something, like I said, that has come up quite a bit, quite often, right? It's just saying, you know, Brad, am I doing this right? Is this happening to me properly? How can I soften the heart? The heart feels very, very hard, right? So this is what we're doing, is we're working together with the breath. We're working together with heart rate variability. We're working together with feeling the love and feeling the compassion, okay? That's very, very important. So again, if you have difficulties, please don't be afraid to troubleshoot, okay? Someone says, dogs are great heart coaches. Oh yes, absolutely. Animals are, right? Cats, dogs, right? Because they're teaching you a lot of things. They're teaching you all about nonverbal communication, right? They're expressing their love for you through their actions, okay? So yes, that's great, right? Meditation with your cats, with your dogs is a wonderful thing, right? Because they're showing you their love without having to say a word, right? Maybe they'll bark, maybe they'll meow, maybe they'll purr. But again, they have nonverbal communication, and this is why having animals together with you as you go into your heart space is so great, okay? They're helping you to relax. They're helping yourself to center. You'll have your cat just coming on your lap and just purring, and just feel how good that is, right? When you have your cat coming up to you, if you guys are cat owners, right? And you have your cat just plopped down on your lap, and he or she is purring away, how does that make you feel? It feels great. I love that my cat is relaxed. And I love that he's plopped down right on my lap, and I can feel that love he has for me. Well, there you go. That's something that incorporates right into your love, right into your heart, okay? And that's in your awoken state, okay? You're not in BCR there. The second troubleshooting I wanted to look into is, well, Brad, the space that I go into, the reinforcement space I go into, is wonderful, and I feel I don't want to leave that space. And now I have to come back into the world again. And so how can I take all of the bliss that I have received in the reinforcement space with me into my day-to-day life? And the answer to that is very simple. You have to live through the heart. You have to understand that when you're going into this space, you don't get so transfixed on the space. The space is just a reflection. Okay, it's just a reflection of mind. You have to understand that this is only a tool that is helping you to unleash all the natural love energy that's already inside you. All we're doing is opening doors. Okay, so let's imagine an infinite hallway. Okay, here I am standing here, and down here is an infinite hallway with an infinite amount of doors. And maybe only one or two of those doors are kind of cracked open. because we've been living the survival life. We've been living the dual life. We've been living from the outside. When you start going into yourself, right? You start doing the heart rate variability, okay? You start doing the BCR technique. You start filling yourself with all this love because you create a beautiful, reinforced space for yourself, and you're doing this more daily. Guess what's going to happen to those doors? They're going to start opening. All of these doors are now going to start opening up, and guess what's coming out of those doors? Yourself, right? Yourself that is love. Yourself that is spirit. That's what we're doing here. Guys, it's not about forming an attachment to your space, okay? When we are truly in love, what true love is non-attachment, okay? You got to get out of this habit of attaching to things, because that's ego, okay? That's ignorance. We're not attaching to your reinforced space, all right? We are not attaching to something that you feel makes you blissful, because now you form an attachment with you and saying, I'm so insecure and I need this thing. It's like a teddy bear I have to hold on to because I'm insecure and I'm vulnerable and I need to hold on to this, okay? We got to throw that away. Remember what I said, when you're going into the reinforced space, you leave your ego at the door. The separate self does not follow you in, which means you are completely discarding any and all forms of attachments. You form attachments because your heart is hard. That's why you do it. You feel like you have to go to somebody else because you don't feel you're capable of giving yourself that confidence or giving yourself that answer that you need, okay? You do not need to come running to me, okay? Like I said, I'm happy to give you tips and advice here and there, but it's about you. You have to get to know your patterns. You have to know that when I'm active, okay? If I wake up in the morning, this is what I have to do. I get myself active. Now I'm ready to do BCR. Okay, the evening comes. I think a good way to wind down the evening is I'm going to do a BCR a second time. Well, see, there's you identifying your patterns. You have to master yourself. Okay, that's why you're here. So we want to get out of that influence pertaining to attaching to things. So when you say, how do I take that with me? You live through the heart, right? You are, again, living here. This is your house. This is the house on top of Mount Olympus, okay? You are living that love, because all the reinforcement space is a hologram. It's a hologram, a permission slip, a tool that you are using to bringing in all of your bliss energy, to see all these beautiful things around you, to see your loved ones as your higher self, right? Talking to you, complimenting you, hugging you, embracing you. So seeing angels coming down from heaven, to see the light of God shining down upon you, right? These are all just tools. These are tools and techniques of projection that is helping to open up the doors of this infinite hallway so all of you can come through all of those doors and into yourself. Now that those doors are open, you're living through the heart always. You don't need a reinforced space right now. That's just a tool. It's a tool in a toolbox, right? You're closing the lid of the toolbox now because you feel your heart is completely open. When I wake up in the morning, I have no problem feeling the bliss within my heart. I have no problem feeling the love, the happiness that is within me. You've arrived, okay? That's what you want to do. You want to arrive. You are arriving through your bliss. You are arriving through your love. You're living through your heart. And now, as you go through your daily life, you're living inside because you've arrived, right? It's when we're living outside that we're confused. If you guys want to voluntarily be lost, if you want to voluntarily be confused, you live outside, okay? You think that you're the body. You think that you're the mind. You think all these things are happening to you beyond your control, okay? That is ignorance, and that is dualism. We're trying to get out of that, okay? Like I said, the BCR technique is just the first stepping stone that's helping you to get out of dualism. That's really all it's doing. It's helping you to go out of dualism, and now you're on this other stone. And the stones ahead will represent the steps to the non-dual. Okay? So you're not really in non-dual once you have opened up your heart. You're in a stepping stone, you're in the nexus point, okay? But ahead of you are other stepping stones where you are working to relinquish the attachment to the body and the mind, okay? But we're not getting into that yet. We're doing the BCR Technique 30-day challenge. So you guys say, I want to take you to that nexus point. I want to take you to that large stone, okay? And now you're saying the stones ahead, and in the times ahead, you'll move much more into the non-dual, okay? Now the non-dual is not about feeling like you have to be completely expressionless, right? Or you have to completely ignore bliss, or you have to completely ignore inspiration. I'm not doing any of that, right? We're doing, again, more of the softer non-dual. The non-dual that I follow, okay, it's not like Ramana Maharshi's, right, where you're basically giving up all forms of desires or inspirations or bliss or anything of that nature. It's not that, okay? It's the idea that you are completely in harmony with knowing that the body and the mind is a tool, which means you can play with the body as much as you want. You can play with the mind as much as you want, but you know they're your servants, okay? They serve you. You do not serve them. Goes back to what Adronis would say as well, too, about space and time. He says that space and time work for us rather than feeling that we work for it, right? That's the idea. That's a non-dual perspective, okay? So that's how I work, right? I'm not going into the hardcore non-dualists who says, you know, ignore light that comes into your mind, ignore spirit light that comes in, ignore. All we want to do is just be non-being, right? Is just to go into complete non-being, complete non-attachment, right? I'm not going there. And that's not what I'm teaching you guys to do. I'm teaching you guys how to be completely in harmony with the body and the mind, and you can play with it all you want, but you are sovereign above it all, okay? You're sitting on your throne. And that's what I'm going to be teaching you guys. Once we get past BCR Technique and we go into New Earth practices, well, those are the stepping stones that's going to follow to one who has that open heart and now wants to follow that path of the non-dual, okay? So I just refer to it as kind of like the soft non-dual perspective, okay? So again, like I said, there's a lot of non-dual teachers out there that basically don't want you to have any sensations, any feelings whatsoever, not to embrace the body, not to embrace the mind, not to embrace any form of expressions, not to embrace any form of experiences, basically just to be completely non-being, right? Completely the self, where you are just completely still. You have no other forms of expression. I'm not that kind of teacher because that's not what I'm looking for, right? And that's great, people that want to go into that level of being non-dual, where they are completely still. Everything is still. They are the self personified, right? Completely in a state of non-being. That's great. And if that's for you, you should look into those kind of teachers that teach that. But that's not what I'm doing, right? I'm teaching you how to live with the body, how to live with the mind. I'm teaching you the householder path pertaining to the non-dual, okay? Because that's how I live, right? So again, that's just a little bit of extra emphasis there with the BCR technique altogether, okay? Let me just check the chat here to see if we have any questions. Looks like just people are having a nice chat here. Yes, Sai Wheat just says, thank you, Brad. That makes sense about non-attachment and the heart. Yes, absolutely. So let's live through the heart. That's the important part. So as you continue to do your BCR technique practice, right, your breath work, your calmness, going into your reinforced space, remember, tune into the heart. Really feel that bliss, right? You got this beautiful environment around you. You got angels coming in, right? You feel this love energy. You're using heart rate variability because you're deepening yourself into the experience, right? Your heart rate is slowing. Your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system is being stimulated. And you're feeling this bliss coming through because you're going into a lower subtle state of being. And now you're taking all this in. And that's what's going to soften your heart when you bring focus to that. Working with heart rate variability is also going to soften that heart as well too. So work to soften the heart. Realize that you are the heart, that you are living through the heart. And that is how we are always in bliss all the time, because we're living from the inside, not the outside. Okay? Thank you, everybody, for this day today, day number 7 of the BCR technique. Again, in 30 minutes, I will be starting New Earth TV Live. So feel free to tune into that. I'll be taking general questions, and we'll also be doing some distance healing today as well too in New Earth TV Live. All right. So thank you so much, and I'll see you guys at 11 o'clock for New Earth TV Live. Take care.